Hi guys, I'll just put the lid back on so we can see what we're talking about. So this will be part 2 of the teardown of this toy grade Colossus all-terrain power. In part 1, I took the front end apart to look at the steering. Part 2, I think we'll have a look at the gearbox and motor. And part 3, we'll have a look at the radio control gear in there. Hawkin's Bazaar 22420 Colossus monster truck. Cost me £9 in a charity shop, missing the battery pack and missing the controller, but it's 27 megahertz, old style toy grade, so I've got 27 megahertz controllers, so we do actually run it. Right, back end. Looks to me like it might be easiest if we take the wheels off first. I have mentioned in a couple of the previous episodes that I'll probably hobby grade this eventually. One of the disadvantages in bothering to hobby grade it is these wheels and tires. They're hard rubber or hard plastic, so they're not much good for real off-road or anything like that. So I could still hobby grade it so we get a good range on it and proportional steering and proportional throttle, but without spending out money for decent wheels and tires, it's probably not worth the effort. Anyway, so wheels off. We'll take this back bumper off that's just connected on to the gearbox with a couple of screws either side. A little magnet just to hold the screws. Back end has actually got suspension. Front end, it's got dummy suspension there. I 3D printed that piece to give us a bit of springiness in the middle, because the way the suspension works on the front is it's just flexing this plastic. You see that? Which does work, but it was actually a little bit soft and the wheels were looking a bit like that. So that's why I 3D printed that for the front end. Back end, these clearly clip in place. We'll unscrew them from the bottom end. In the previous episode, I explained when I used to buy radio-controlled cars from from charity shops, one of the first things I nearly always did was a teardown to have a look inside. So that's what we're doing here. And I haven't done this for quite a while, not this sort of buy it in a charity shop and do a teardown video series. So I will split this over at least 3 episodes, see if that pulls off easily. There we go. So that's our rear suspension. Come on, off you come. There we go. That's just so there's a little bit less hanging around while we're working on it. Right, I've no doubt if I take the front end off, this bit here will actually drop out nicely, but we'll leave it there. Or will we? No, we won't, because we'll need to get that apart to be able to separate the gearbox. So we will have to have a peek in this end, just so we can get down there. Let's get another magnet ready. Right, I was hoping to leave the reveal here for the next episode. I'm going to have to screw that. Right. So I think I've got to undo that. So we can release that bit of plastic, and then this will drop out. Oh no, there's a couple of screws in there. I need a thinner screwdriver. I'll take this one off anyway. Yeah, need to get a thinner screwdriver. Is that going to come? Yeah, now it's going to come off. Or at least it would if we undid the screws all the way. Okay, so that lifts off, and that's our pivot bit holding the gearbox in place. Unfortunately, these are directly soldered, so that's all held together unless I desolder it. Right, I want to take that apart. I think I'll reposition the camera a little bit. Okay, what have we got? Screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there, and a screw in there. And then hopefully that'll just pull apart and we'll be able to have a look at the gearbox. If we undo those screws, I expect we could just pull the motor out. That might be a good idea. Oh, sorry. Right, if we're lucky, will the motor lift out? Yes, the motor will lift out. So there we go. That's the motor lifting out. That bit doesn't want to come off. So you'd have to take the gear off, get that bit of plastic off. Never mind, that's an advantage because that's out the way. And we can look at the gearbox without all the rest of it hanging in the way. Right, here we go. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Right, is it all going to fall apart as we pull it apart? Or are we going to be okay? Pull it apart gently. Okay. So in this end, that's not actually going to come apart. So the axle has got that hexagonal bit on the end of it, plastic washer, or nylon bush, I suppose. Then we got the axle comes through here, and there's a pressure fit on that bit of nylon. And there's also a nylon bush in there. So that won't conveniently come apart, so we can actually play around with the axle in any way. That's the housing for the motor. And then turn this around. So the motor gear drives that one. That one lift off, yeah. So motor gear on that one drives a smaller gear there. That smaller gear meshes with that one. I expect that'll lift off, yeah. On the back of there we got a smaller gear which meshes with that one. Will this lift off? Yes. Okay, so we got the same arrangement for the axle, nylon bush. Axle goes through, and there's a, call it a pressure fit on there. You can't unscrew it or anything. And then this is our differential, which is nice. If I turn that one way on there, you'll see it's turning the opposite way on there. So really cheap toy grade don't have a differential on them at all. You've got a fixed or a rigid back axle. This one does have a differential, which makes it a slightly better quality toy grade. Fair bit of grease there. Put that back on. Put that one back on next. Put that one back on. So that's our reduction gear. You could count the number of teeth and work out what your gear reduction is. I'm not going to. So can we get this back together? That one lines up with that one lines up with that one. Okay, so if I turn that That one goes the opposite way. Right, I'll put that back together. Do we need to see anything else? No, I think that's it. So I'll put this back together. You don't need to watch that. That's not exciting. And then we'll put it back and we'll have a look at the receiver in the next episode. There's always a little bit more to film when I think I've finished. Because we can't get that bit of plastic off, we can't fully read what's written on the side of the motor. That definitely says ZJ280 SC, and then that says 23, and we can't read any more numbers there. And it says 2017-04, and we can't read any more numbers. On the end it says A something, can't quite read what that says. AJ. Has it got anything written underneath these? Nothing that I can read there. Nothing that I can read there. These will either be inductors or they could even be thermal fuses. Anyway, that's as much as I'm going to show you now. I'll finish putting the gearbox back together. Thanks for watching. You'll always find more information down below in the video description. If you like this video, you might like this one up here. You might like to subscribe just here. Over here is my latest video on my channel. And down below is a playlist related to what you've just been watching. Thanks again for watching.